Hello there, I'm Anna and I like doing DIY things. I have a great space to do these in my garage. I'm just lacking in the work surface department. So far I've used a folding table, a teeny tiny collapsible workbench, and even our patio dining table. I think it's time for me to get a proper workbench. I first looked to buy one. Gosh, they are so pricey, and none of them were exactly what I was looking for. So the only solution is to build one.
To create our workbench, I began by using the software Sketchup. This allowed me to quickly and roughly design the look that we were aiming for. Anna had a certain look she wanted to achieve, and we both wanted a certain amount of functionality with the workbench. And we definitely wanted wheels, so we could easily move the workbench around the garage or move it outside. We settled on a final size of 3 feet by 6 feet for the top workspace and a height of 37 to 39 inches, depending on the wheel sizes that we could find to purchase. With our design completed, I made a cut list of the wood we needed and off to Home Depot we went. At the orange store, we had them cut the lumber into smaller pieces so it'd be easier to take home. I also had the larger lumber, like the 2x8s and the 4x4s, cut into the exact sizes I needed. I love that they offer this service for free. With the 2x4s and 4x4s all cut to the needed sizes, I could begin assembling the frame for the workbench. I started by placing pocket holes into the ends of the 5-foot 2x4s, using the Craig jig. Anna and I love using this tool. It makes pocket hole joinery very easy, and your project's rock solid. Here is the result. Pocket holes are evenly spaced, and they all are at the correct distance and angle. With the pocket holes done, it was time to get the impact driver out. I used a scrap piece of 2x4 and a clamp to help keep things aligned between the 2x4 and the 4x4 as I screwed the pieces together. I should have been on the opposite side of the 2x4 when doing this, but I didn't want to block the camera, so I ended up making it harder on myself to drive the screws into the pocket holes. Alas, an artist must always suffer for his artwork. Or something like that. For the sides, I used 2x4s cut to a length of 23.5 inches. 4 of these pieces were needed to finish the frame of the workbench. Again, pocket holes were made with the help of my Craig jig. Anna wanted in on the fun, so I showed her how to make pocket holes. I have a feeling I'm going to regret this decision in the future. These 2x4s were attached the same way as the others were. The main difference this time was that I also used wood glue on all the 2x4s. Why didn't I use glue on the longer 2x4s, you ask? Well, because I was so excited to start making the workbench, I just forgot. I'm going to blame this one on old age. Since the bottom shelf of the workbench is to have boards running widthwise, I placed a 2x4 running in the center lengthwise to add extra support to the boards, in case anything heavy is ever placed on them. Again, this piece was joined using wood glue and screws into pocket holes. Flipping the workbench, I did the same for the top of the framework, joining the 2x4s to the 4x4s. I also added a 2x4 at the center, running widthwise to help support the 2x8s that would be spanning the top of the workbench lengthwise.
Doesn't she look so good? This is the best. But it's break time because it's really cold, and I think Ralph deserves a coffee for his hard work and broken thumb. He's just powering through. Okay, really, I just want the coffee, but whatever. And I'm gonna have a cookie. Or a few. All right, see you soon.
Anna loves sanding, and she's really good at it. So while she sanded the 2x8s for the top of the workbench, I cut the 1x6s for the bottom shelf. To make it easier to cut 12 identical length pieces, I set up a stopper at 23.5 inches for the miter saw. Also, I don't have a sliding miter saw, so cut anything wider than 4 inches involves flipping the wood to make a cut on the opposite side, and the stopper also helped with this. Maybe one day I'll convince myself that I really need a sliding miter saw and I'll go out and buy one. Maybe. On the bottom shelf, we wanted the boards to overlap the 2x4 on each end, so I measured out how much of an overlap to have and traced out the pattern on the two boards. I then used a jigsaw to cut out the portions. In hindsight, I should have used a handsaw as I could have cut straighter than using a jigsaw.
Before we can put together any more of the workbench, I need to sand and stain the frame and all the slats for the bottom bench.
With sanding completed, Anna turned her attention to staining the frame. She picked out a stain in polyurethane and 1 in a classic black stain color. With this color and the angular look of the frame, this should give the appearance that the workbench support frame is made out of metal. Anna also continued her staining crusade by staining and sealing the bottom shelf boards too. 3 things that she really is good at with woodworking: sanding, staining, and painting. As I hate doing all 3 of these things, we really do make a great team. For the casters, we found these on Amazon. They have a very smooth 360-degree swivel, have a low capacity of 300 pounds each, and have a double locking brake. That way, the wheel and the shaft are locked, ensuring that the workbench won't move when parked. I marked the screw holes of the casters on the bottom of the legs, and then pre-drilled holes. This way, the large screws used to secure the casters wouldn't crack or split the wood. I was really impressed with the casters. They are very smooth scrolling, and easily transition to any direction. I also like the orange color. Not only is orange Anna's favorite color, but they complement the Workbench stain colors. For connecting the 2x8s, I again relied on the Craig jig to create pocket holes. I also used a scrap piece of cardboard so as not to damage the stained wood with the clamp. I spaced the holes evenly for each of the 5 boards that I would be attaching to the top of the Workbench frame. I could have just used a sheet of wood as a top counter, but it wouldn't give the look that Anna and I wanted. We thought that having the 2x4 boards would give the Workbench an old style look, and it also reminds me of my dad's Workbench that he made for his garage. With all the boards attached, one end had 2 boards that were slightly longer than the rest. This happened because 2 of the boards were slightly longer than 8 feet, and I had told Home Depot to cut off 2 feet from each board, assuming that they would all be exactly 6 feet. I set up my level as a guide for my circular saw so that I could cut the board straight and even. And I know, I should have cut in the other direction, but again, the camera lighting was better if I did it this way. Which reminds me, I need to add a quality circular saw guide rail to my I need it list. With the top completed, the bottom shelf boards were left to attach. All these boards were glued and attached with an 18 gauge brad nail gun. Yep, I missed the 2x4 in the end. I forgot that the board overhung by about an inch past a 2x4, and so I placed nails near the edge of the shelf board, thinking that I was securing it like a pro. After realizing my newbie mistake, I spent the next 5 minutes removing the nails in shame. Each 1x6 board was spaced using a thick piece of cardboard as a guide. Each board was glued and nailed, and each one placed alternating from each end. Once I reached the center for the last 2 boards, I intended to cut them the same size and width, but again, I did a newbie mistake and cut one board too narrow. Since these were the last boards I had, I just used them. It's not the final look I wanted, but it isn't very noticeable anyways. Maybe in the future I'll pull them out and fix it. Or maybe not. With everything assembled, Anna gave the top a final sanding to remove any bumps and give the top a flatter, smoother surface. And then she completed the staining and sealing of the Workbench.
Here she is, and I think she's beautiful.
So the Workbench is pretty much finished, but we still want to add some storage areas, maybe on the bottom. I'm thinking about adding a vise somewhere on one side or the other, maybe a ruler on the side too. These are all going to be future projects, and we'll have a video for you once we complete that. If you have any suggestions or recommendations on our Workbench, leave us a comment.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with others. And if you like our videos, subscribe to our channel to help us grow. Thank you, and until next time, take care.
I don't like this. Why isn't it going rough? There's something wrong with this. It's supposed to like go really nice and bright on my, cause it's my face. That's the whole point of this. What is wrong? I'm not happy with this, but whatever.